Plant growth and development. You have already studied in the organization of a flowering plant in the chapter 5. Have you ever thought about where and how the structure like roots, stems, leaves, flower, fruits and seeds arises, and that too is an orderly sequence? You are by now aware of the terms seed, seedling, plantlet, mature plant. You have also seen the trees continue to increase in height or growth over a period of time. However, leaves, flowers and fruits of the same trees not only have limited dimension but also appear and fall periodically and sometimes repeatedly. Why does vegetative phase precede flowering in a plant? All plant organs are made up of a variety of tissue. Is there any relationship between the structure of a cell, a tissue, an organ and function they perform? Can the structure and the function of these be altered? All cells of a plant are descendant of the zygote. The question is then, why and how do they have different structural and functional attributes? Development is the sum of two processes, growth and differentiation. To begin with, it is essential and sufficient to know the development of a mature plant from a zygote fertilized egg followed a precise and highly ordered succession of events. During this process, a complex body organization is formed that produce roots, leaves, branches, flowers, fruits and seeds, and eventually they die. The first step in the process of plant growth is seed germination. The seed germinates when favorable conditions for growth exist in the environment. In absence of such favorable conditions, seeds do not germinate and go into a period of suspended growth or rest. Once favorable conditions return, the seed resumes metabolic activity and growth take place. In this chapter, you shall also study some of the factors which govern and control these developmental processes. These factors are both intrinsic, internal, and extrinsic, external to the plant. Growth is regarded as one of the most fundamental and conscious characteristics of living being. What is growth? Growth can be defined as an irreversible permanent increase in size of an organ or in parts or even an individual cell. Generally, growth is accompanied by metabolic processes, both anabolic and catabolic, that occurs at expense of energy. Therefore, for example, expansion of a leaf is growth. How would you describe the swelling of a piece of wood when placed in water? Plant growth generally is indeterminate. Plant growth is unique because plants retain the capacity for unlimited growth throughout their life. This ability of plant is due to presence of meristem at certain location in their body. The cell of such meristem have the capacity to divide and self-perpetuate. The product, however, soon lose the capacity to divide and such cell make up the plant body. This form of growth, wherein new cells are always being added to the plant body by the activity of meristem, is called the open form of growth. That would happen if the meristem ceased to divide. Does this ever happen? In chapter 6, you have studied about the root apical meristem and shoot apical meristems. You know that they are responsible for the primary growth of the plant and principally contribute to elongation of the plant along their axis. You also know that in dicotyledonous plant and gymnosperm, the lateral meristems, vascular cambium and cork cambium appear later in life. These are the mechanisms that cause the increase in growth of organ in which they are active. This is known as secondary growth of plant. Growth is measurable. Growth at the cellular level is principally a consequence of increase in amount of protoplasm. Since increase in protoplasm is difficult to measure directly, one generally measures some quantity which is more or less proportional to it. Growth is therefore measured by a variety of parameters, some of which are increase in face weight, dry weight, length, area, volume and cell number. You may find it amazing to know that one single maize root apical meristem can give rise to more than 17,500 new cells per hour, whereas cell in a watermelon may increase in size by up to 350,000 times. In the former, growth is expressed as increase in cell number, the latter is expressed growth as increase in size of the cell, while the growth of a pollen tube is measured in terms of its length and increase in surface area denote the growth in a dorsiventral leaf. Phases of growth. The period of growth is generally divided into three phases, namely meristematic, elongation and maturation. Let us understand this by looking at the root tip. The constantly dividing cell both at root apex and shoot apex represent the meristematic phases of growth. The cells in the region are rich in protoplasm, possesses large conspicuous nuclei. Their cell walls are primarily in nature thin and cellulosic with abundant plasmodesmatal connection. The cell proximal just next away from the tip to the meristematic zone represent the phase of elongation. Increased vacuolation, cell enlargement and new cell wall deposition are the characteristics of the cell in this phase. Further away from the apex, that is more proximal to the phase of elongation, lies the portion of axis which is undergoing the phase of maturation. The cells of this zone attain their maximal size in terms of wall thickening and protoplasmic modification. Most of the tissues and cell types you have studied in chapter 6 represent this phase. Growth rate. The increased growth per unit time is termed as growth rate. Thus, rate of growth can be expressed mathematically. An organism or a part of the organism can produce more cell in a variety of ways. The growth rate shows an increase that may be arithmetic or geometrical. In arithmetic growth, following mitotic cell division, only one daughter cell continues to divide while the other differentiated and mature. The simplest expression of arithmetic growth is exemplified by a root elongation at a constant rate. Look at the figure on plotting the length of the organ against time. A linear curve is obtained. Mathematically, it is expressed as LT is equal to L0 plus RT. LT equal length at time t, L0 length at time 0, R equal growth rate divided by elongation per unit time. Let us now see what happens in geometrical growth. In most systems, the initial growth is slow, lag phase, and it increases rapidly thereafter at an exponential rate, log or exponential phase, where both the progeny cell following mitotic cell division retain the ability to divide and continue to do so. However, with limited nutrient supply, the growth slow down, leading to a stationary phase. If we plot the parameter of growth against time, we get a typical sigmoid or S curve. A sigmoid curve is characteristics of living organism growing in a natural environment. It is typical for all cells, tissues and organs of a plant. Can you think of more similar example? What kind of a curve can be expected in a tree showing seasonal activity? The exponential growth can be expressed as W1 equal to W0 e to the power RT, W1 equal final size, weight, height, number, etc. W0 equal initial size at the beginning of the period, R equal to growth rate, T equal to time of growth, E equal to base of natural logarithm. Here R is the relative growth rate and is also the measure of ability of the plant to produce new plant materials referred to as efficiency index. Hence, the final size of W1 depends on the initial size W0. Quantitative comparison between the growth of living system can also be made in two ways. One, measurement and the comparison of total growth per unit time is called the absolute growth rate. Two, the growth of the given system per unit time expressed on a common basis. Example, per unit initial parameter is called the relative growth rate. Two leaves A and B are drawn that are of different size but shows absolute increase in area in the given time to give leaves A1 and B1. However, one of them shows much higher relative growth rate. Which one and why? Condition for growth. Why do you not try to write down that what you think are necessary conditions for growth? This list may have water, oxygen and nutrient as very essential element for growth. The plant cell grow in size by cell enlargement, which in turn require water. Turgidity of cell helps in extension of growth. Thus, plant growth and further development is intimately linked to the water status of plant. Water also provides the medium for enzymatic activities needed for growth. Oxygen helps in releasing metabolic energy essential for growth activity. Nutrient, macro and micro essential elements are required by plant for the synthesis of protoplasm and act as source of energy. In addition, every plant organism has an optimum temperature ranging best suited for this growth. Any deviation from this range could be detrimental to its survival. Environmental signals such as light and gravity also affect certain phases or stages of growth. Differentiation, dedifferentiation and redifferentiation. The cell derived from root apical and shoot apical meristms and cambium differentiated and mature to perform specific function. This act leading to maturation is termed as differentiation. During differentiation, cells undergo few to major structural changes both in their cell wall and protoplasm. For example, to form a tertiary element, the cell would lose their protoplasm. They also develop a very strong elastic lignocellulosic secondary cell wall to carry water to long distance even under extreme tension. Try to correlate the various anatomical features you encounter in plant to function they perform. Plants show another interesting phenomenon. The living differentiated cell that by now have lost the capacity to divide can regain the capacity of division under certain conditions. This phenomenon is termed as dedifferentiation. For example, formation of meristems, interfascicular cambium and core cambium form fully differentiated parenchyma cell. While doing so, such meristem tissue are able to divide and produce cells that once again lose the capacity to divide but mature to perform specific function, that is re-differentiated. List some of the tissue in a woody dicotyledonous plant that are the product of the redifferentiation. How would you describe a tumor? When would you call parenchyma cell that are made to divide under controlled laboratory conditions during plant tissue culture? Recall section 15.1.1, we have mentioned that the growth in plant is open, that is, it can be indeterminate or determinate. Now we say that even differentiation in plant is open because cells and tissues arising out of the same meristem have different structure at maturity. The final structure at maturity of a cell tissue is also determined by the location of the cell within. For example, cells positioned away from root apical meristems differentiate a root cap cell, while those pushed to the periphery mature as epidermis. Can you add a few more examples of open differentiation correlating the position of a cell to its position in an organ? Development. Development is a term that includes all changes that an organism goes through during its life cycle, from germination of the seed to senescence. Diagrammatic representation of the sequence of processes which constitute the development of a cell of a higher plant is given in figure. It is also applicable to tissue or organ. Plants follow different pathways in presence in response to environment or phases of life to form different kinds of structure. This ability is called plasticity. That is, heterophyly in cotton, coriander and larkspur. In such plant, the leaves of the juvenile plant are different in shape from those in mature plant. On the other hand, difference in shape of leaves produced in air and those produced in water in buttercup also represent the heterophylous development due to environment. This phenomenon of heterophyly is an example of plasticity. Thus, growth, differentiation and development are very closely related events in the life of a plant. Broadly, development is considered as the sum of the growth and differentiation. Development in plant, that is, both growth and differentiation, is under the control of intrinsic and extrinsic factor. The former includes both the intercellular, genetic or intercellular factor, chemicals such as plant growth regulator, while the latter includes light, temperature, water, oxygen, nutrition, etc. Plant growth regulator characteristics. The plant growth regulator are small, simple molecules of diverse chemical composition. They could be indole compound, indole 3-acetic acid, adenine derivatives, N6, furfuramino, purine, kinetin, derivative of carotenoids, ascorbic acid, ABA, terpenes, gibberellic acid, GA3, or gases, ethylene, C2H4. Plant growth regulators are variously described as plant growth substance, plant hormones or photohormones in literature. The PGRs can be broadly divided into two groups based on their function in a living plant body. One group of PGR are involved in growth promoting activities such as cell division, cell enlargement, pattern formation, trophic growth, flowering, fruiting, and seed formation. These are also called plant growth promoter. Example: auxin, gibberellin, and cytokinin. The PGR of the other group plays an important role in the plant responses to wound and trace of biotic and abiotic origin. They are also involved in various growth inhibiting activities such as dormancy and abscission. The PGR abscisic acid belongs to this group. The gaseous PGR ethylene could fit either of group, but it is largely an inhibitor of growth activity. The discovery of plant growth regulator. Interestingly, the discovery of each of the 5 major groups of PGR have been accidental. All this started with observation of Charles Darwin and his son Francis Darwin, when they observed that the coleoptiles of canary grass responded to unilateral illumination by growing towards the light source phototropism. After a series of experiments, it was concluded that tip of coleoptile was the site of transmittable influence that caused the bending of entire coleoptile. Auxin was isolated by FW went from tips of coleoptile to oat seedling. The Bacani fully seedling disease of rice seedling was caused by a fungal pathogen gibberellin fujikori. E. Kurosawa reported the appearance of symptoms of the disease in rice seedling when they were treated with the sterile filtrate of fungus. The activity substances were later identified as gibberellic acid. F. Cook and his co-worker observed that from the internodal segment of tobacco stems, the callus, a mass undifferentiated cell, proliferated only if, in addition to auxin, the nutrient medium was supplemented with one of the following extract of vascular tissue: yeast extract, coconut milk, or DNA. Miller et al. Later identified and crystallized the cytokinesis promoting active substance that they termed kinetin. During mid-1960s, 3 independent researchers reported the purification and chemical characterization of 3 different kinds of inhibitor B, abscission 2, and dormin. Later, all 3 were proved to be chemically identical. It was named abscisic acid ABA. H. Cushing confirmed the release of a volatile substance from repent or rinse that hastened the ripening of stored unripened bananas. Later, this volatile substance would identify as ethylene, a gaseous PGR. Let us study some of the physiological effects of these 5 categories of PGR in next section. Physiological effect of plant growth regulator. Auxin, from Greek oxyne, to grow, was first isolated from human urine. The term auxin is applied to indole 3-acetic acid IA and to other natural and synthetic compounds having certain growth regulating properties. They are generally produced by growing apices of the stems and roots, from where they migrate to region of their action. Auxin, like IAA and indole butyric acid IBA, have been isolated from plants. NA, naphthalene acetic acid, and 2,4-D, 2,4-dichlorphenoxyacetic are synthetic auxin. All these auxin have been used extensively in agriculture and horticulture practices. They help to initiate rooting in stem cutting and application widely used for plant propagation. Auxin promote flowering, example in pineapples. They help to prevent fruits and leaf drops at early stage but promote the abscission of older mature leaves and fruits. In most higher plants, the growing apical buds inhibits the growth of the lateral axillary bud, a phenomenon called apical dominance. Removal of shoot tips decapitation usually results in the growth of lateral buds. It is widely applied in tea plantation, hedge making. Can you explain why? Auxin also induce parthenocarpy. Example in tomato, they are widely used as herbicides. 2,4-D widely used to kill dicotyledonous weeds. Does not affect mature monocotyledonous plant. It is used to prepare weed-free lawn by gardeners. Auxin also control xylem differentiation and helps in cell division. Gibberellin. Gibberellin are another kinds of promotory PGR. There are more than 100 gibberellins reported from widely defined organisms such as fungi and higher plants. They are denoted as GA, GA1, GA2, GA3 and so on. However, gibberellic acid GA3 was one of the first gibberellin to be discovered and remained the most intensively studied form. All GA acidic, they produce a widely range of physiological responses in the plant. Their ability to cause an increase in length of axis is used to increase the length of grass stalks. Gibberellin causes fruit like apple to elongate and improve its shape. They also delay senescence. Thus, the fruit can be left on the tree longer so as to extend the market period. GA3 is used to speed up the malting process in brewing industry. Sugarcane store carbohydrate as sugar in the stem. Spraying sugarcane crops with gibberellin increases the length of the stem, thus increasing the yield as much 20 tons per acre. Spraying juvenile conifer with GA hasten the maturity period, thus leading to early seed production. Gibberellin also promote bolting internodes elongation just prior of flowering in beet, cabbage and many plants with rosette habit. Cytokinin. Cytokinin has specific effect on cytokinesis and were discovered as kinetin, a modified form of adenine epurine. From the autoclave herring sperm, DNA kinetin does not occur naturally in plants. Search for natural substance with cytokinin-like activities led to the isolation of chitin from corn kernel and coconut milk. Since the discovery of chitin, several natural occurring cytokinin and some synthetic compounds with cell division promoting activity have been identified. Natural cytokinin are synthesized in regions where rapid cell division occurs. For example, root aphids, developing shoot buds, young fruits, etc. It helps to produce new leaves, chloroplast in leaves, lateral growth, shoot growth and advantageous shoot formation. Cytokinin help overcome the apical dominance. They promote nutrient mobilization which helps in delay of leaf senescence. Ethylene. Ethylene is a simple gaseous PGR. It is synthesized in large amount by tissue undergoing senescence. And ripening fruits. Influence of ethylene on plant include horizontal growth of seedling, swelling of the axis and apical hook formation for dicot seedling. Ethylene promotes senescence and abscission of plant organ, especially of leaves and flowers. Ethylene is highly effective in fruit ripening. It enhances the respiration rate during ripening of the fruit. This rise in rate of respiration is called respiratory climatic. Ethylene breaks seed and bud dormancy, initiates germination in peanut seed, sprouting of potato tuber. Ethylene promotes rapid internode petiole elongation in deep water rice plant. It helps leaves or upper part of the shoot to remain above water. Ethylene also promotes root growth and root hair formation, thus helping the plant to increase their absorption surface. Ethylene is used to initiate flowering and for synchronizing fruit set in pineapple. It also induces flowering in mango. Since ethylene regulates so many physiological processes, it is one of the most widely used PGR in agriculture. The most widely used compound as sourced by ethylene is ethifone. Ethifone in an aqueous solution is readily absorbed and transported within the plant and release ethylene slowly. Ethifone hastens fruit ripening in tomato and apple and accelerates abscission in flowering and fruits, thinning of cotton, cherry, walnut. It promotes female flower in cucumber, thereby increasing the yield. Abscisic acid. As mentioned earlier, abscisic acid was discovered for its role in regulating abscission and dormancy, but like other PGR, it also has other wide-ranging effects on plant growth and development. It acts as a general plant growth inhibitor and an inhibitor of plant metabolism. ABA inhibits seed germination. ABA stimulates the closure of stomata and increases the tolerance of plant to various kinds of stresses. Therefore, it is also called the stress hormone. ABA plays an important role in seed development, maturation and dormancy. By inducing dormancy, ABA helps seeds to withstand desiccation and other factors unfavorable for growth. In most situations, ABA acts as an antagonistic to GA. We may summarize that for any and every phase of growth, differentiation and development of plants, one or other PGR has some role to play. Such role could be a complementary or antagonistic. This could be individualistic or synergistic. Similarly, there are a number of events in the life of a plant where more than one PGR interact to affect that event. Example, dormancy in seeds, bud, abscission, senescence, apical dominance, etc. Remember, the role of PGR is only one kind of intrinsic control, along with genomic control and extrinsic factor. They play an important role in plant growth and development. Many of extrinsic factors such as temperature and light control plant growth and development via PGR. Some of such events could be vernalization, flowering, dormancy, seed germination, plant movement, etc. We shall discuss briefly the role of light and temperature. Both of them are extensive factors on initiation of flowering. Photoperiodism. It has been observed that some plants require a periodic exposure to light to induce flowering. It is also seen that such plants are able to measure the duration of exposure to light. For example, some plants require exposure to light for a period exceeding a well-defined critical duration, while others must be exposed to light for a period less than this critical duration before the flowering initiation in them. The former group of plants are called long day plant, while the latter one are termed short day plant. The critical duration is different for different plants. There are many plants, however, where there is no such correlation between exposure to light duration and induction of flowering response. Such plants are called day neutral plants. It is now also known that not only the duration of light period but that the duration of dark period is also of equal importance. Hence, it can be said that flowering in certain plants depends not only on a combination of light and dark exposure but also their relative duration. This response of plant to the period of day or night is termed photoperiodism. It is also interesting to note that while shoot apices modify themselves into flowering apices prior to flowering, they shoot apices of plant by themselves cannot perceive photoperiod. The side of perception of light, dark duration at the leaf. It has been hypothesized that there is a hormonal substance that is responsible for flowering. This hormonal substance migrates from leaves to shoot apices for inducing flowering only when the plants are exposed to the necessary inductive photoperiod. Vernalization. There are plants for which flowering is either quantitatively or qualitatively depends on the exposure to low temperature. This phenomenon is termed as vernalization. It prevents the precocious reproductive development late in the growing season and enables the plant to have sufficient time to reach maturity. Vernalization refers especially to promotion of flowering by a period of low temperature. Some important food plants, wheat, barley, rye, have two kinds of varieties, winter and spring variety. The spring variety are normally planted in the spring and come to flower and produce grain before the end of growing season. Winter variety, however, if planted in spring, would normally fail to flower or produce mature grain within a span of flowering season. Hence, they are planted in autumn. They germinate and over winter come out as small seedlings, resume growth in the spring and are harvested usually around midsummer. Another example of vernalization is seen in biennial plants. Biennial are monocarpic plants that normally flower and die in the second season. Sugar beet, cabbage, carrot are some of the common biennial. Subjecting the growing of a biennial plant to a cold treatment stimulates a subsequent photoperiodic flowering response. Seed dormancy. There are certain seeds which fail to germinate even when external conditions are favorable. Such seeds are understood to be undergoing a period of dormancy which is controlled not by external environment but are under endogenous control or condition which within the seed itself. Impermeable and hard seed coat presents of chemical inhibitors such as abscisic acid, phenolic acid, para-abscisic acid and mature embryos are some of the reasons which causes seed dormancy. This dormancy, however, can be overcome through natural means and various other man-made measures. For example, the seed coat barrier in some seeds can be broken by mechanical aberration using knives, sandpaper, etc. or vigorous shaking. In nature, these aberrations are caused by microbial action, the passage through digestive tract of animal. The effect of inhibitory substance can be removed by subjecting the seed to chilling condition or by application of certain chemical like gibberellic acid and nitrates. Changing the environmental conditions such as light and temperature are other methods to overcome